Hello, welcome back to another episode of Holton Talks. Today is me, Skyacton, and I'm joined once again by Jamie Acton. How you doing, mate? Yeah, good. Good, getting a bit nervous now. Obviously, FA Cup semi-final on the horizon. We've not actually done an episode since the PSG game, so we haven't done Newcastle or Man City, just due to schedules, and Aaron's still out with a bad back, so he can't really do a lot. We'll just touch on them two, and then we'll get into the semi. Obviously Newcastle first, massive win, and then a bit of a kick in the gut after Man City on Tuesday. Just a quick little your thoughts on them two games.
Newcastle was superb. I thought, it was very much the Newcastle game of 2 years ago when we beat them 3-0. When we were going for the Conference League. I was happy with how we played on against Newcastle on Saturday. Really good display. I thought we were solid defensively. Offensively, we were very good. Could have had more. I think 4-1. I've even seen a few Newcastle fans say that scoreline flatters them really. Overall, really good performance. That's what you expect us to put in against a large majority of these teams at home, because that's what Newcastle do at St James's Park. They batter teams because they know that at home they're such a formidable force, and we're the same at Villa Park. We got whoever comes to Villa Park, we have to go into it winning every single game. And off the top of my head, the only game I think where we deserved not to win was probably the Liverpool game where we drew. I thought a draw was probably fair. But every other game I can imagine we've played so well, and happy with Newcastle. Then obviously you get to Tuesday night against City. First half, I was so happy with the first half. I think we had double the amount of shots on target as them. I think we had one more shot than them. So I think even just to I think it was 7 or 8 shots we had in the first 45 minutes. I think even that is mad, really, because it was only a few years ago we'd go to the Etihad and we have 11 men behind the ball, and we wouldn't get 7 shots in the whole game, let alone in one half. For whatever reason, he changed it at half times. And I think obviously that could be a testament to how City played. I thought they definitely stepped up second half, but Unai said before that. I think the players have said as well, like they like it when teams kind of press up to them a bit more. When you invite and bait that press, it leaves gaps in behind, and we're exploiting them first half. Second half we just couldn't seem to find that kind of that end product that we were finding in the first half. It was a sucker blow, to be fair. That last minute equaliser. I'm still not over it. I'll be fine come kick off tomorrow, but I'm still not over that last minute equaliser. A lot of fans are a bit doom and gloom with but for me, I'm not, because I don't think a point. I don't think City are our competition for top 5. I think we have to be looking at. I know they keep winning, but Forest and Chelsea. I think they play each other last games of the season. I know Forest is running in slightly easier than Chelsea. I know Chelsea have quite a tough running, for me, City was never in my head of that they'll finish outside the top 5. So gutted that we didn't get that point, but I'm still optimistic, because at the end of the day, if we win, obviously, regarding the results this weekend, if we win all our last 4. Then you probably do get top 5.
Yeah, I think we probably got to win definitely 3 of them, maybe all, didn't we? Time will tell. I agree that I think City will finish third. I think Forest. I don't know if you watched the Forest Tottenham game Monday, but Tottenham battered them, and not batter might be too strong, but Tottenham had a lot of the ball, a lot of chances, and if they had a Haaland or a Watkins or an Isak up front, Forest would have been blown out the water. So I do think they're starting to tire out. I think the game there, semi-final against City on Sunday will be interesting.
I think they've got. Do they not have Brentford midweek as well? They have Brentford midweek, I think, as well. So,
because we obviously us Palace and City all played in this week leading up to it. So I'm guessing. I think next week.
yeah, they're playing midweek next week against Brentford. But then they're at the City ground, but they don't. Brentford are much better away from home, and so even that's a tasty one. If they draw that game, and like I said, we win our last four. They got to play Chelsea last game of season.
Yeah, it's certainly.
Uh,
I'm not sure if we can do it now. But like you always get some mad results at the end of the season. So all we can do now is take care of ourselves. But let's be honest, we were on what did we won? We weren't beaten in 10 games apart from PSG.
yeah, we had
You,
110 and 11.
you can't win every single game of football at that level. You just can't do it. And if we win tomorrow and you say to me, we won the FA Cup semi-final, but we had to lose one game in the running, I think I probably would have said yeah, because I want to be obviously in the final. There's no way you're going to win every single game. It's just not possible.
And you think, like, we've had, just off the top of my head,
Tough,
PSG. We've had PSG twice.
yeah,
Club Brugge away from home. Obviously, we found very tough first time around. Brighton away from home. City, Newcastle, Forest, and out of those games, obviously alongside a few Championship clubs and a few other Prem teams, and another game against Bruges, we've won 10 out of 12, and the only two we've lost are against the reigning English champions and probably the best team, arguably, in the world right now, in PSG. So, like he says, we are going to lose games. It's a circle of life, how football works. Whatever happens in the season happens. We're going to go into next season. Some players might go that we don't want to go. Some players we might sign that we don't want to sign, and it's just it's the way football is, and it's just like to go and look, the two games we've lost are against Man City and PSG, and to say we've beaten PSG, should have got a point against City as well. It's like it's for me. I'm still in dreamland. Like like the unless we can sustain this for years and years to come, we're going to be talking about this, in years gone by, years go by. About, do you remember when we beat PSG at home, and God, that night there? And do you remember we went to the Etihad and we were like, some people were putting us favourites, and cause that's what all the that's what all the pundits were saying on the pre-match coverage. Like Roy Keane, they all said it was like, oh yeah, I fancy Villa today. And even at half time, Roy Keane was like, oh yeah, well, I think Villa are going to edge this. And it's just like, it's mad that we live in a world where Aston Villa are, to some people, favourites to beat Man City in their own backyard. And like, again, I'm still in like surreal land. Like, I still can't in my head think that we're Champions League quarter finalists, we're FA Cup semi finalists. We've got Rashford and Asensio playing for us. It just nothing really feels real. So I don't think I'm taking the losses as bad as what other fans are. I'm just riding the wave of like emotion with the 10 wins, and tomorrow as well we're at Wembley again. Like, it's for me. Again, I'm not focusing too much on these losses, because it's not like we've lost to Ipswich at home, or we've gone out against Preston in the cup or whatever. We've lost to two bloody good teams.
yeah. I mean, the City one, obviously, that any game that you lose, if you're watching and it's your team that you're watching, or if you're playing and you lose to a last minute goal, it obviously does hurt that little bit more. If you were 2-0 down and you lost 2-0 or something, you'd be like, all right, we've lost to a good team. It's the fact that it was obviously the last minute. That's a bit more of a sucker punch. But probably a good thing that we now go into a separate competition where we can just park the league to one side and full focus on the FA Cup. And we've shown already this season and under Emery that a one-off game we can turn up, and he's got a tactical a tactical plan that he can put in place to beat whoever we're playing. Now, I'll caveat that and say recent games, Palace have had the better of us, but completely different game tomorrow, and it's such a big game that I think all the European games that we've had over the last couple of years and the PSG games this year, the Bayern game, Juve, maybe, and I might just be clutching here, but I'm hoping that our players will rise to the occasion a bit more than the Palace ones will.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. I was actually going to say that point about like it's Wembley, of course, it's the home of football, so it doesn't, in terms of stadiums, it doesn't get much bigger. But the experiences we've had, I still think because players and Emery have both have mentioned quite a bit this year about like even like the Olympiacos game away from home last year, and it's just like it's such a hostile atmosphere, and it's like even games like that, they'll look back on and they think like, 'cause at the end of the day, the thing with Wembley is that like the way it's built, you don't get loud, but it's not like it's hard to build a greater atmosphere. You're going off what happens on the pitch, whereas at Villa Park, you can start a song and it goes throughout the whole, and then it
Yeah,
can go onto the pitch. Whereas like those like hardcore sort of fans, they're all obviously they all try to get behind the goal, but they are all spread out, so it is very hard to kind of build an atmosphere. So I do think the players, like he says, the PSG one as well, Lille last year as well, away from home. Again, a lot of our Emery said a couple presses ago that when he came, we only had 3 or 4 international players. He was like, now international break comes and like, I mean, that friendly we played out in was it Qatar or Dubai, wherever it was where we played it. Half of it were filled with youngsters because everyone else was on international duty. So you get these players like I don't know, for example, like Pau Torres. He's played in European Championships. You think he's used to these occasions. You get, like, for example, who I think will be the back two tomorrow, Mings and Konsa. They both played at Wembley on regular occurrences for England.
yeah,
Ty's been there with us already. You look at Matty Cash, he's played in World Cups for Poland. Matson literally just came off scoring on his debut for Holland against Spain in the Nations League semis. So it's like they've all they all play international football. They've all been to different grounds, different atmospheres. So I'm not going to say they're going to walk out of Wembley and they're going to think, "Oh, say FA Cup semi final, like we've done bigger than this." I'm not saying that, but it's like end of the day,
they should be
even
able
though
to deal with the occasion.
100%, and like he says, we have arguably the best like manager in the world for cups because he is. It sounds so weird saying it, but one-off games, that's his element. I don't think, obviously, say like City away, for example. We tried. It was more basically like an old school. You're away in Europe, sort of like quiet in the crowd. Take time on everything and play a bit more direct and stuff like that. And even when we went to Selhurst Park last time, we matched them up. None of that happens tomorrow. I do think we are going to go for it tomorrow. Obviously, it's not like a basketball match, and he's still going to, Emmy's still going to have the ball at his feet for about 5 minutes because he's waiting for the press. Those things will happen, but the mentality within the players, what Emery gives the players, it's a totally different game. And like I says, like they are our bogey team. I mean, I would have rather have played Forest or City than Palace, even though Palace are player for player probably I don't want to say worst side, but at the 4 that are left, but they are our bogey side. Sarr, Mateta seem to score every single time we play against them. Eze looks like fucking Pele. So it's just like with Emery in our corner and the experiences that our players have gone through, they've been to bigger occasions, they've done bigger things than being at Wembley for an FA Cup semi-final, if you know what I mean. And that's not an arrogance thing. That is just
Yeah,
like playing away against the champions of France and the best team in the world. You know, it's like there's for me that's for the players in their mind. lot more hostile and nerve-wracking than
Yeah,
playing at Wembley against Palace.
yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I've kind of forgot about that, but touched on the point when we did last play him and we did match him up, didn't we? Now, every time we've done that, we just seem to not do it. So I'm hoping he just goes for the tried and tested 4-2-3-1 or four, however you want to word it, 4-2-2-2 or whatnot. They've obviously, yeah, on paper probably out of the four teams have got the weakest teams, but they have got a lot of players that can hurt you. Yes, they've hurt us in the past, but they're obviously trying to get Wharton on the ball and get him playing. Obviously, Eze is an unbelievable football player. Sar's pace, and obviously Mateta. Now, I don't think Mateta's been starting the last couple of games, has he? And I don't know
No,
if it's ear related or if it's
he he
him.
didn't start. He didn't start against Arsenal, but he started the week before, I think. So because they actually rested a couple. Well, I'm assuming it's rested. They
Well,
rested.
I saw that Wharton didn't play either, did he? Not
Yeah,
he played against Arsenal, but I don't think he played in the one before. He didn't start the one before.
yeah, he started against Arsenal. He didn't start the one before. Mateta didn't start against Arsenal. Saad didn't start either. I don't think.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think they're at full strength though, because obviously Chris Richards has spent most of the season at right centre back. I think is he out injured? I think Jefferson Lerma has been playing there, and he
yeah,
predominantly
he
fielder.
yeah he played against Arsenal. Lerma, right centre half.
But if Villa's best attacking area is obviously that left channel, so maybe that's something we can target if Lerma is playing on the right side centre back. Obviously Mark Gay and Lacroix or whatever his name is at centre are both good defenders. But I mean, Palace were flying up until a couple of weeks ago, and they've obviously, they got picked up a good result against Arsenal. But they have obviously been a bit indifferent the last few games.
It was the City and Newcastle game. I mean, it's tough. It's
Yeah,
tough going to those places, but they got battered in both.
they got battered, but then like you look at our recent form, and like you said, the two that we've lost are against two of the best teams in Europe. But we've also played a lot of the best teams in the Premier League at the same time. You can exclude the Preston game and maybe the Bruges games, but we've had Forest, we've had Newcastle, Brentford, Brighton, you know. But yeah, our form is pretty good. How do you think it'll line up tomorrow? I think that's obviously, we're talking about shape and systems. Surely he's got to go strongest 11, which I'm sure lots of other people have different versions. I've written down what I would like to go with. I'm not sure if he will or not, but what do you think? I'll let you go first, and I'll tell you what I've got written down.
I do think he'll go with his strongest lineup. I think the whole rotation kind of thing goes out the window because obviously you do it for certain games, but obviously like you said, semi-finals, you don't risk it by playing players that he like. You can see he doesn't think that Marlon deserves to
And,
be in the starting lineup, so
yeah,
he's not going to play Marlon because he hasn't been playing, for example.
and we've got no midweek game either to worry about. We don't play again until next Saturday.
Yeah, it'll probably be easier if you go because obviously the formation's not going to change. Well, I fucking hope it won't change.
But this is what I would like to see. Obviously, Emmy in goal. Cash, Conser. I think Mings has to play. I don't think Torres has been okay, but Mings
Yeah, I
is.
mean,
We've won a lot of games with Mings back in the team. I would actually rather him go with Matson. I don't think he will. I put Luca Dean down, but I think Matson is playing very well at the moment. He just gives us that little bit more pace going forward. Whereas obviously Luca Dean is a more of a stand and deliver. Booba and Yuri, I think, as the two. I just think we're a lot better when Yuri can sit and he can pick the ball up in a deeper area to thread the balls through. I would like to see Guinea on the right, Rashford on the left, Rodgers behind Watkins. I think
yeah,
Guinea has to play. I think Rodgers is not nowhere near as effective on the right hand side. So I'd get him in behind on the 10, and I think Ollie has to play. But I think Rashford's playing well enough to still deserve a start, but I would put him out left.
yeah. You're not too far away. I think I'd go with Matson as well. just as well you deal with help deal with that Sar in behind ball.
Yeah.
Mings as well. I'd have Mings every day of the week. Again, our success rate while Mings has been playing. You look at City for example. Powell. I mean, I love Torres. I think great for what Unai wants in a centre half, but he is very much a modern day centre half. Like I've never seen a centre half be so bad in the air, but I've also never seen a Villa centre half be so good on the ball. So,
No,
in terms of breaking line passes.
Nunez's goal, I listen, Mings might have had a go and put it in his own net, but I think Mings makes an attempt for that ball.
Oh no, yeah, that's the angle I'm getting at. What I'm saying is that like for all Torres is good for, again, like the Bayern Munich goal don't happen without Torres on the ball. No one else in our team can play that ball. But Mings in that area, it's again like I didn't think Ezri done enough either for that second goal. It's just like if Mings was in Ezri's position or Mings was in Torres' position, I do think it is a different story.
Yeah, I think it was probably harder for Concert because he was that much closer to Doku.
Yeah.
Obviously you're yeah, you probably are right. I mean, yeah.
I just didn't think you. I just thought he was very passive at that time. Obviously, that's how he defends. Like he never gambles. He's always passive. That's why he never gets beat. But yeah, I just thought in that moment he could have been a bit more aggressive. But yeah, no. So Mings, Ezra will go for Cash as well. I've seen a few people saying Garcia. Again, if Garcia was picked, I wouldn't be against it. But I think he will go Cash. I think Cash is actually. I'm not a big lover of Cash, but I actually thought. It was quite harsh. I know I'm getting away from the starting 11 again, but I thought it was quite harsh. I know we got beat the first goal, but that ball got played over, and I don't know if you've looked. I know they're about 5 yards apart, 5-10 yards apart, but he's basically ran past Rogers' line to go press Marmoush when. As soon as Doku has come on against the Sassy, Rogers is there trying to help him double up. I know he didn't for the goal, but prior to that he was, and it's just like, well, why ain't Cash getting that support? But yeah,
It's also the movement on that goal. Gundogan's run takes Cash in towards Concert. When the ball gets,
yeah.
Mamouche has obviously got time to start having a bit and build up a bit of speed. You know what it's like. If someone's coming at you with pace, it don't matter how good a defender you are, they're going to take it past you. They're
No,
running.
yeah.
Mamouche is rapid, you know.
But
Um,
that's what I mean. Like Kashi, he's so
I
tight
think,
to Ezri. The ball got played over. As he's running towards Marmoush is already fucking running towards him.
yeah, exactly.
He. But yeah, I'd go with Cash. I'll go with Boober and Yuri. And basically, I'll pick the same lineup as you. But I would think in my head, I would have thought that he would maybe go with JJ instead of Rashford, just because he obviously is a bit of against Rashford playing out on that left hand side at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, looking into the team he played at in Tuesday, would you think maybe Asensio comes in and then maybe Rogers or McGinn wide?
Maybe it's if Asensio comes in. This was one thing I wanted to kind of talk about against Newcastle. I don't know if you noticed, but obviously Yuri played. Um, Yuri was off of. If I'm right or not?
No, Anana come on, didn't he?
Oh, okay. Sorry. So the when
Asensio,
Yuri played,
Asensio started the game, didn't
oh, okay, yeah. So if Asensio plays on that 10, when I don't know if you noticed, whenever Bruno got the ball, he had pressure off our number 10 straight away. I don't know if you noticed that. And then when it wasn't Asensio, it was Tielemans, and it was just always just at him all the time. That's what we're going to have to do against Wharton because, I mean, for me, I think I said it when we done our last Palace preview when we played at Selhurst Park. I think
Palace game was our first ever episode, I think.
was it.
Yeah, I think it was.
I said about Wharton then, and I think that like I'm such a big admirer of
Hey, 2 secs, I'm just, the dog's at the door.
what
Wait there.
the fuck.
Oh,
I'll just sit here, shall I? Don't really know what to say now. You don't even have a dog.
I know with dogs soon. Sorry, didn't want him. No accidents in the house.
Yeah.
You
Um,
important.
yeah, I think Wharton is one of the best midfielders in the league. I think he should start for England alongside Rice. I generally think he's such a good midfielder. He has everything. So we have to shut him down because Palace's form they started playing well when he came back from his injury because he had a long layoff of his injury.
Well,
When
his
he,
back was against us at Palace, wasn't it?
yeah, well that's what I mean. He done the 4-1 and they've been on a bloody roll since then. So it's just like, yeah, I just I think he's such a good midfielder. We have to shut him down. So whether that be whoever plays off of Ollie as the second striker, who floats as the 10, he's got to sit on Wharton because Wharton he ain't going to drift too deep because they already play a three at the back, but he will drop at times quite deep to get the ball if they're not on it that much. But we have to shut him down at all times. So again, whether that be Boober or Yuri, whatever lane he's in, we have to press him because as soon as he gets on the ball, he's the one that's going to be playing the balls. And I says about Will Hughes as well last time, he's probably been their player of the season this year. So it's like again, if you're not shutting Wharton down, you've got to shut him down as well.
Yeah,
Um,
he's a good player, Will Hughes. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and I think Ollie's good because I mean, he has to go with Ollie tomorrow. I think anyway.
Yeah,
Um, Ollie is a striker that can occupy a back three. Not many strikers can, but Ollie is. He's such a willing runner. He can hold the ball up. He can spin. He can spin. He can drive. Runs in behind. He can occupy a back line, but like a back three by himself. So necessarily think it'll be like a front two like we've been seeing. Out of possession, yeah, fair enough. But in possession, I would expect, yeah, if it is Asensio as that second as that one off Ollie, whoever that player is, I can see him coming quite deep to get on the ball to create a 3v2 overload, and I think that's where we will actually see a lot of joy tomorrow.
yeah. I listen. If you wrote both teams down on paper, Villa's probably got probably the better squad. Um, I've got a lot of time for Palace. I think they're Glasner's a good coach. They got some great players. We were talking before we come on about Eze. I would take Eze in a heartbeat. I think he's one of the best attacking players in the league. Walton is incredible. I just think we need to go and play how we played against Newcastle and how we played for pretty much the whole PSG game, and just don't worry about them. Worry about us, and worry about us hurting them with our players and our plan. Um,
Yeah, because that's another thing. Because like PSG, for example, I mean, like you look at Newcastle quick, they got Isak up front, who's my opinion, the best striker in the league. Fuck all this Haaland bullshit. Isak is unbelievable, right? And we don't cater to that. We play PSG at home. We don't cater to Kvaratskhelia, Doué, Barcola, and Dembele. Yeah, we don't cater to that. But when we play Palace, we seem to cater to them.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
like the match-upping system, but we have so much talent, like he says. Whatever front four you go for, whether it be Watkins, Asensio, Rashford, McGinn, or Rashford, Rogers, Bailey, and Marlon. Whatever you go with, we have so much talent, and we should just be able to go out there, express ourselves. And in my opinion, if we're at anywhere near what we were like against Newcastle and PSG, and we are good defensively, we should be walking out of there with another day at Wembley booked in.
no, fingers crossed, mate. I think this is a year. I mean, I know we spoke about it after Preston
We
and
were saying we were saying it was our year when we had Jimmy Danger and Ross McCormack up front.
it's always a year. But I mean, I know last time we were at Wembley, just before we finish up, you put in earlier the team that had it's only Mings that was the start of that day. I mean, that's only 5 years ago. You look how far, again, we won't go into it too much, but how far we've come since then. That City game when we lost in the League Cup final, you didn't really give us a chance. I mean, obviously we were there when Samatta scored, didn't he?
Yeah, El Ghazi cross.
You're thinking, oh, well, maybe we got a chance, but you go into tomorrow, you're thinking, if we turn up and if we play, we can win. You know, the FA Cup final in 2015, 16 or 14, 15, whatever it was, we knew we weren't going to beat Arsenal. You know, our final that year was that semi-final against Liverpool, and that game at Wembley will stay with me for a long time. One of the best games,
That was my first time at Wembley. That was.
you know. But all in all, really, we've got okay memories at Wembley, but we're due a win. The way I see it is, we won the semi-final against Liverpool. We lost the final. We lost the first playoff final. We won the second one. We lost the League Cup final. So really, we're due a win.
Yeah, we are.
You know.
Yeah. Going back on that start 11 you said. I said that like, because McGinn was injured, wasn't he? Because remember he had that problem. I think he got injured at home Southampton.
Yeah.
If my knowledge is right, home Southampton he went off injured. So yeah, only Mings played, and I says that team. You have Freddie Gilbert in there, Matt Targett. Our right winger was Elmo. He's now our club ambassador.
No, it is.
He now plays in the Championship. Samatta plays for. Is it no? Who does Samatta play for? Because he scored in the Champions League, didn't he? This season. Samatta plays for someone else in some weird league. Still Champions League, but I can't remember who he plays for. But someone in a lower league, in like the European scale. Matt Targett can't get in the team. I don't know what Bjorn Engels is doing right now. Who's our goalie, Nyland, back up at Leipzig. Douglas Luiz had a stinker that day for us, but he can't get in the Juve team. Freddie Gilbert, I don't know where. Well, he's in France still, but I don't know whereabouts in France. And it's just like, what was the other one? Conor Hurahan, who's now the manager of Barnsley. So it's like,
What a
you
player.
look, yeah, good player, but you look at how far we've come, and now you're going to be saying whoever we put out there tomorrow plays for their national side or has played for their national side.
Yeah.
It's you got like a 4 times Champions League winner in Asensio. You got Watkins,
World Cup winner and Emmy.
World Cup winner, back to back Yashin Trophy winner, which has never been done in the history of football, by the way. Which I think gets
But
don't get spoken about enough.
I don't know if you listened to Stick to Football this week, but he was having.
Oh yeah, they tried digging him out. I had to turn it off.
Yeah, he's a
It was
bellend.
it was Gary Neville, wasn't it, saying about he shouldn't flap it, he should punch it. Like, why don't you if you think you're that good, then why don't you become a goalie coach?
I am putting that goal down as a mistake. The bit that pissed me off on that was Carragher saying about it. You know, he's not better than Allison, and
So why is he bringing Allison into it for? Like, shut up. Do you know what I mean? And then it's just
about
like
his bloody Liverpool. No one cares about. Just
it's even the whole thing about Watkins saying he got offered to bloody Arsenal. Like, well,
clickbait.
so you're telling me some guy that is lucky to have a job. When you think about it, he's lucky to be where he is. Right? He somehow knows that Villa offered Watkins to Arsenal, but yet every other journalist in the world don't have a single clue about it.
Yeah, Sky don't know.
Yeah, you're talking out your arse, mate. And yeah, like fucking. Have you seen the Mings? On Villa TV, the little podcast he done.
No, I've not watched it. Has he been on there?
Yeah, it's about half hour long, but it's also all about the FA Cup and that. And the way he talks, like he gets the club and he says about. Well, so we were saying that about against City, we were very much like no hope. Where he was like, as players, we felt that. Like, we knew we were going into that City game, like, we have to be at our very best, and they have to be at like 75% for us to even stand a chance. And he
Yeah,
said he was like, now, whoever we play against, we think we're going to win. He said he was like, we went into Tuesday against City at the Etihad thinking we were going to win. And he was like, we're going into tomorrow thinking that we are going to win. And he was like, there's not a single team on the planet that we go, oh, you know what, we might take a draw here, we might take a draw here. He said he was like the managers installed in us that the belief that we can literally beat anyone, and he said we proved it because every team we faced this year, we have beat, you know, and it's just if you like, and he didn't say this, but like what I'm saying is that you can beat PSG, you can literally beat anyone.
Yeah, and really, ever since Emery's taken over, we've had the odd game where we might have lost like 3-0, or Palace obviously 4-1 this year and 5-1. Fucking Palace. But we're in 95, 96% of the games all the time. We're never really out of reach, and we've got goals in no matter what. You know,
Yeah, and it's just like last year when we played away at City. Do you remember? Like he rotated it a bit. He played Zaniolo. He played Rogers weren't starting every game. Then Duran weren't starting every game either. And like he played them boys, and it's just I knew before the game anyway when that lineup came out. I thought,
we were
like,
giving it up.
yeah, we were like we don't stand a chance here. And like whereas this year we went to Anfield, we lost 2-0, yeah, but we actually had a lot of chances. They capitalised on two of our mistakes.
Yeah,
One was Diego Carlos in the second half. In the first half, we didn't leave no one back from a corner. Two mistakes, two goals. But we played very well. I remember Ollie having a few good chances that game. It's like then, like we're not scared anymore. We don't, like he says, like 95% of games this year we've been in. We haven't been like completely outclassed. Again, there is a few. There's the Palace game, obviously that sticks out for me. But like obviously the odd game here and there. But this season, like, and now the squad we have now, I don't look at anyone and I think, yeah, you know what, their squad's so good that why don't we just sit back and soak it up? Again, PSG, yeah, we done that, but no team, Liverpool, who already won the league, they went to PSG, and we offered more. I think we had something like 7 or 8, 9 shots we had against PSG at their place. Liverpool had one, and that was their goal they scored. Their first shot came in like the 92nd minute, and it's just like we're going to these places, giving out more than the current champions of England. It's just like for me, like again, all respects to Palace, all respects to Forest or City, but the talent we've got, I fully believe we can go all the way. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. I think in our lifetime, Emery's been the best manager that we've seen. But to really cement yourself, you need silverware. Top four is great, but if he was to win an FA Cup, he would cement himself as hero status. And the pressure's on. They're backing him. Villa can't do any more in terms of the club giving Emery what he wants, and ultimately it's down to him and the players to go and deliver tomorrow and get us in the final, and then we'll be having the same conversation again.
I'll ask you a question.
Go on.
Right now,
Yeah.
we win the FA Cup, right? Are we ahead of schedule, or are we about right? Or
I would say in terms of the norm, and if you took us from coming up, getting promoted, and you take us as just a promoted team, and then that first season we just stay up on the last day. We should have been relegated. If COVID hadn't happened, we would have been relegated. To
yeah,
then in mid-table, to then obviously coming seventh and then fourth. I would say we are way ahead of schedule, but I would then flip it and say he's assembled a squad that is ridiculously good. And like I said a minute ago, you've got teams like United, when they're having shit seasons, will go and back it up and win a trophy. Now, we need to get into that mindset. And I think the mindset is changing because we'll go anywhere now and give them a game. But the mindset is just, even if I don't play well tomorrow, you grind out the win. And for years, Villa have never really had that mindset. Probably the whole time that we've been watching them, they've never had the mindset. We've never seen them. They've not won a cup since '96. You know, it's a mindset thing. But I think we're probably way ahead of schedule. The owners can't do any more. They've given Emery everything he wants. you know, you got to say credit to Emery because he's obviously got us and Monchi and them, you know, Vidagani and whatnot where we got to. But the only way that you can keep going forward is by winning FA Cups and by winning League Cups and finishing in Europe each season. So yes, we're probably ahead, but they'll probably see it as the squad that they've assembled. We're probably right where we should be.
Mm. And I think
You know?
that's quite accurate, to be fair, because I do think from the broader media and as fans, we're well ahead. But I do think internally, probably Champions League might have come maybe a
Yeah,
year or two too
season.
soon.
Yeah,
The Champions League's come maybe 1 or 2 years too soon. But in terms of trophies, internally within the club, I think we're right on track. I do think that they would have been expecting FA Cup semi-finals, League Cup finals, all these type of things internally. As fans, obviously, like Villa fans, like we haven't had a lot to cheer about, so it's like we take what we can get. We're playing against PSG, yep, let's have it. Like Bayern Munich at home, yep, we're playing against Man City away from home, or we're giving them a game. Like this is what we want.
yeah.
You know, I think our expectation of trophies and stuff might maybe come in the next couple of years, but internally within the club, I do think that they would be not pressure because I don't think like he ain't under no pressure. We could lose every game now to the end of the season. Like he ain't in no pressure, but internally within the club, I do think there would be the expectation now of there are players at that club that have won a lot of things. There's players at that club that are on a lot of wages. Even the stadium now. How much that's going to cost for the redevelopment of the North Stand. All these things. It's like it all gets linked to trophies because at the end of the day, trophies is what remains forever. Like Villa fans still talk about the the last FA Cup win in the '50s, and it's just like they're not going to talk about the Bayern Munich game in 50 years' time, but they will talk about the FA Cup win in 50 years' time because that's what's important at the end of the day, trophies, and it's just like I says internally, I do think there would be a level of demand.
Well, yeah, it's your lasting. You're leaving a lasting legacy, aren't you? You know, it's all about trophies, and the other thing I would say is how often do you get to a quarter final or semi final? The early rounds of any cup competition, you're going to mix your squad up. You're going to hope for a good draw that you can kind of just, with a bit of luck, weave your way through the draw. You get to quarterfinals and semi-finals, then that don't happen often. So you're not going to get many chances. You know, think about it in our lifetime again. How many semi-finals have we got to? Not that
Mm.
many. So you've got to go and grasp it with both hands and just like I said earlier, just take care of yourself. But yeah, we'll be there. Obviously, might even treat myself and have a little tinny on the train on the way up. We'll yeah, tomorrow will be a good day. Wembley's always a great day. We'll have a good little sing song, and hopefully we'll be singing on the way home.
It's just the whole thing about like obviously we're getting the train up there, we're meeting as in your old man up there, but it's just like I'm looking forward to like the fan zone. I think your old man put it in the chat. The fan zone prior to the game, like singing the songs, seeing the coach come in, then getting into Wembley and being like, wow, like this is literally the most famous ground in world football, and we're here right now for this occasion. And it's just like, yeah, if we lose tomorrow, I mean, it is shit, is what it is. But the memories that we have, like again, like PSG last Tuesday, if we had lost that game, I would still look back on that day we had going up there, the night we had there.
Yeah,
I don't look at it negatively one bit, and it's just like you said, Wembley's always a good day out, and it's just like I said, if we're anywhere near our best, I am confident that we will, you know, as long as Emery don't try none of this bloody matchup bollocks, and he does what he usually does in one-off games, and he's sound, then we'll be fine. I think.
yeah, yeah. I like you just said that we're meeting Aaron and obviously my dad up there. Yeah, they're going up together, and how they were last Saturday going up to Newcastle. They might not even make it up there together. They might have
Yeah, I
fallen
know.
their own ways up there. So if they're listening, obviously Aaron's bad back, can't run very fast, but good luck to Dad. Let's just say that.
This is Alan. Shaz, he's left me. He's left me again.
He wouldn't know what to do. Bless him. He'll be all right. He'll just, he'll find his way home. What are you going for before we finish up?
3-1 because Sar's bound to score.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 2-0.
Clean sheet.
Bang on it.
I reckon we will be as well because he would have drilled this into him for ages.
Especially after Tuesday, I think he'll be feeling a bit shit after that.
Yeah.
And whatnot. I don't think we'll have an outro. I think we'll just sing a Wembley song, shall we?
Sing.
Yeah.
You want me to sing?
We're on the march of Unai's army. We're all going to Wembley. We're going to shake them up. We're going to win the FA Cup. Because we're one of the greatest football teams. Right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Up the Villa.